your Spaceship Music Collective. This is Six Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. From your Spaceship Music Collective, this is Six Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I'm your host, Dom Maple. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Six Set Bro, music and entertainment podcast. A little bit of a false start there. The cable on my phone kind of fell out and did not work properly. Sorry, Andy, I muted you there.
Nothing happened.
Nothing. We'll ignore that. We'll ignore that anything happened at all. I'm Don Maple. I'm gonna be your host as per the usual. Don't expect anything unexpected, except my camera's not in the right position. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I'm Don Maple, indie musician, host of this show, joined as always by the one and only Twitch streamer extraordinaire.
The regular. Just call me. That's my name. Call me the regular.
He's the regular.
That's it.
It's Nandez with his chewing gum commercial intro. It's so fresh and minty. And you might notice that old Money Mike's not here. Pour out a cash register. He's still on that vacation, that much earned vacation from working so hard on the show. Such a stressful experience for me. I had to take a break. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be making fun of him for taking a break from the podcast for 2 weeks for a long time. I'll be like, dude, are you expecting vacation days every year? Yeah, come on. You gotta put
Stop
the extra
printing out
work in.
fake holiday forms.
I know. He sends me holiday forms through email for the show. And if you're watching the video podcast, it kind of spoils the surprise. I feel like if you're on audio only, you're like, oh, have they got something in the back pocket? And we do. But if you're on video, you already know. I should have concealed people, because I forgot that I could do this and I could take them right off the video stream, and then we would be like, oh, there's nobody here. There's no special guest tonight. But it's not true. We are joined by Matt or Matthew, whatever name that you decide, Matt or Matthew. What are we going with? You've chosen Matt La for your
Matt. I think everybody sort of goes with.
Yeah, your tag on the bottom of the screen says Matt La, and I was like, oh shit, did you put that down?
Matt La. It's meant to be Lonely Astronauts, so you knew who it was.
Yeah, in case a different Matt came on the show and I got confused.
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc, yeah.
Matt LeBlanc is here. Matt from Lonely Astronauts, and also Scott from Lonely Astronauts. Welcome to the show, guys. Yeah, boy. And we're gonna be getting into a bunch of stuff. We'll talk to the guys about their new single that's just out, but we gotta start the show the new way that we start the show, and that's with quickfire news. As of last week, we started quickfire news. I tried to start it a couple of weeks ago, and then I learned that quickfire news was the slowest news in the fucking world, because we're not very quick at things on this show. We're very slow. Every time we tell you that we're starting at 7:30, we start about 7:45. I'm not gonna lie. We should probably put that on all the promotional material. We're gonna be 15 minutes late.
And that's why Mike has 2 weeks off.
Yes, yeah. Mike is the one that keeps us late, just so that everyone's aware. Usually Andy and I are always there. The old Nandez and the Maple Leaf, we're right on time. Did you notice that last week's show started precisely, so punctual? But the minute Mike comes back, that thing's gonna be Money Mike he rolls in whenever he wants to. He got that money, so he doesn't have to adhere to the constraints of time, I guess.
So he told you quick news isn't quick.
Oh, we haven't even started. So yeah, let's jump into some quick fire news, folks. Welcome to Six Set Bros Quick Fire News. It's quick, and I'm Donald Maple, joined by Andrew Nandez Martinez, and local astronauts Matt LeBlanc and Scott with the terrible camera. Oh, yeah, quickfire news, great. Oh yeah, right. Okay, let's get into it. First up, so we got Foo Fighters are coming to the UK in 2022. So that's some good news. They're playing a bunch of arena shows, and Dave Grohl said he's gonna play every show like it's his last. So I guess COVID kind of got him thinking, like, you know, the next pandemic's just around the corner. Better fit in some more shows. Foo Fighters are always like, we're back, and I was like, never thought you left. Yeah. Never thought you left, boys. You weren't gone that long. All right. Next up, we got. Oh, this news is juicy. There's a fresh scoop. Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak, and Bruno Mars. We were actually talking about this on the last episode, I'm pretty sure. But they finally announced that they're releasing their debut album, which is called An Evening with Silk Sonic, and it's coming out in January 2022. So it's starting to seem like 2022 is the year to be in. 2021 is gone, folks. Nothing good's gonna happen this year, but look out for next year. 2022 is the place to be. You know what? Speaking of Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak, he's the next story I got up. He showed off a tattoo recently on his social media, and it was depicting his desire to not have his music released posthumously. I find that word hard to say. Yeah, it was a tattoo that basically said, hold on, I've got it up here. When I'm gone, please don't release any posthumous albums or songs with my name attached. Those were just demos and never intended to be heard by the public. What a meaningful and informative tattoo. Thank you, Anderson .Paak, for being so upfront. And
can I just quickly? Yeah. Is he copying Prince? Did Prince not do that? He's like, hey, motherfuckers, don't cover my shit.
Well, I mean, people didn't listen to Prince. People did not listen to Prince.
Every month now, it's like, you heard this?
Yeah, I know.
He just brought out a new record the other week. It's like just like, hey, his new Prince record. Yeah, it's like he's dead. He's dead.
First he died, now he dead.
I thought he doesn't go by Prince anymore, though, does he?
Oh, sorry, yeah, he goes by.
What, dead Prince? Yeah.
Dead Prince?
I don't know.
Formerly known as Prince.
Formerly known as Prince, yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe that was insensitive. Sorry, everyone. Right, last story. Here we go. Old Drake, my Canadian brethren, so he revealed recently that he got the COVID. He got the Rona, guys. And the reason he brought this up is because people started making fun of his haircut, which I don't know if anybody's seen, but he's had this little heart shaved into his head for like fucking 3 years because he's been trying to talk about this album that he's meant to be bringing out. But now it just kind of looks like a number 3. Because it's grown in and it kind of looks weird. That's the only problem. But it's because he had the COVID. And nobody could cut his hair. So that was quickfire news, everyone. It's pretty fast, it's pretty intense, and pretty pointless. So, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, we got to get into the beefy, juicy part of this show. Lonely Astronauts interview. Guys, how's it going? Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with my fucking stupid quickfire news segment.
Good to be here.
Yeah, you will hear Scott cutting in and out with his terrible audio and terrible camera. He apologizes greatly. It looks like there's just dirt on your camera. Like, I don't really know what's going on.
It's bad when he sends me...
Go ahead, Pat.
It's bad when he sends me topless photos like that, because it usually covers the area you want to see.
Got him. Yeah, guys, I suppose start out with the cliched question that people ask on fucking everything, and I'm kind of sick of it, but seeing as we've not spoken, how's your lockdown been? How has your COVID experience? How's you been? I don't know how else to put that.
COVID, yeah, frick. It was was a nightmare, obviously, but now we're looking on the other side of it. For me, it was quite, like, musically, it was quite good. Like, I wrote a lot during COVID. I think I wrote more than I've ever written. I learned how to sort of do some demos at home, and kind of just started focusing a bit more on that. Plus, I was able to work during the pandemic, so I was able to still get out and stuff. So
yeah. Well, that's me and Andy were the same. We were always a bit grateful that we still had a job to go to, and kind of kept us sane a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Scott? Were you working during the pandemic, or were you stuck inside the entire time?
No, I was working as well. Well, we worked right up until I think it was when did lockdown even start? March.
March 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we pretty much shut down like 3 or 4 weeks after, and then that was us right through until the following. Oh, I can't even remember. Like June.
Oh, jeez, that is nuts.
So,
I don't know. That would drive me insane. I don't think.
I just got sent like audio recordings from Matt of new songs that we couldn't even practice.
Oh yeah, I know. Because that's what I was gonna say. Is like I suppose that would be the hardest thing. Is like to me, what I was seeing is I sort of remember 2019 through into early 2020 seeing a lot of stuff from you guys, and like you guys sort of working towards something, like bringing out these singles like one by one, and then this is just like so many people and so many things. It's like COVID just came in and everyone comes to a dead stop. Like there's nothing we can do anymore. I mean, did that? I suppose you've already kind of talked to me a little bit there, Matt, about it, but like it didn't kill the motivation to keep going with it, because I feel like a lot of people may not come back to the music scene after COVID, which is quite sad. But it's good to hear that you guys are.
It is quite sad because I think we talked about this last year, actually, because we seen a few bands that we like sort of saying that they just didn't see the point in continuing, or didn't see the point in, and that was like, but we were the opposite. We were like, we can't wait to do this, and as Scott was saying, every couple of days I was sending over ideas, and I was like, picture how this is going to sound, and and then now that we've sort of got back to practicing and stuff, it's been like, right, I just can't wait to going back to gigs and going out and seeing bands and just being more involved in the scene again,
Yeah,
it's scary to see other people like chatting, like you say, about maybe like not going back to it. I was listening to a podcast there. What do you call your guy from Rubber Bandits?
Oh, Blind Boy?
Blind Boy?
Yeah, he was basically saying how he was like hemming and hawing about ever doing it again. And even if he did, it would be to really small crowds to like sort of ease himself like into it. But he's like happy to like prepare for like lockdown life forever as such. But I don't know.
I mean, I get that, because I think even with very simple things with me, like I've talked about it on the show endlessly for anybody that's like a long time listener, but I had a baby at the start of lockdown, and I don't know if that just changed things a bit more for me. And obviously if I was to have a baby and not have lockdown, I would probably still be thinking like, I can't go anywhere and I can't do anything. So I don't know if it's just like escalated it to the point that like, if people are like, I can't wait to go on holiday, I can't wait to go out here and do this and that and whatever, I'm like, no, I'm good just at home. That's fine.
Just chilling.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it where I'm just like, I can't. But that probably would have happened whether there was a global pandemic or not, just because I became a dad. I went into dad mode, and I'm like, it's not for me. Fun?
You think that?
No.
You think that, but then you get to a certain stage where you're like, I have a 6-year-old, by the way, so you're like, yeah. So
I didn't actually know that. That was good. It's the dad podcast.
It's a
Welcome to the
fresh
dad
scoop.
podcast.
So you look forward to playing any chance you get. You're like, right, I'm away.
I know. Oh man, we should start our own podcast called Dadcast. Yeah, that would be great.
Dadcast, Dad Talk.
Oh no, that sounds like it's a little sexual or something. Dad Talk. Join us for Dad Talk.
It's just like sweet jazz in the background.
Yeah, and we tell you that we're proud of you and try and encourage you to do stuff with your life.
Complete your dreams and
yeah.
go tell that girl you like Did you like
I
it?
think there's something there. That's an idea. Let's bank
That is.
yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know. It was weird for me. Just for I don't know. It's
Yeah,
I think
because
it put
you.
me off doing a lot of other things, and now even though restrictions are lifting, I'm kind of like, I don't know when I'm ready to go and do stuff again. Even like if I was invited to a live show, as much as
Yeah.
people are jumping out there and as involved as I am in the music scene, I'm still kind of like a bit hesitant. I don't even know why.
I just think
just
it's.
What? Sorry,
What's up?
sorry. What's that, Scott?
We made people more antisocial.
Yeah, it has made people more antisocial, you're right? And I was already pretty antisocial.
No,
Um,
I think you get to the point though, don't you, where like you will sort of start to have to jumping back into things, you know, gradually, like because
Yeah.
it's just I'm very scared of it still too, but I think you can't just stay at home all the time, you know, as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that, like, it's just weird that now even, you know, like, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, I just have my second vaccine thing there, so, like, obviously it's still early. I only had it yesterday, I think, so, yeah, not fully protected yet, like another 2 weeks or something before you feel a bit more confident about things, but it freaked me out. Like, I think I actually screenshotted my phone, not for the purpose of the podcast, but just because I thought it was weird. I was going through the government website for restrictions, and I thought
Fuck, you are a dad.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'll be honest.
He had reading glasses on when he was doing it.
Oh man, I wish I'd have brought my glasses out. I could have got them on to read it. Yeah, so I was going through it for a different reason. I wanted to see what exactly the restrictions were now, just to try and understand them. But this little segment got me, right? And I'm pretty sure you'll catch on to why straight away. So it says from 16th of August, which is only, 2 days ago,
Yep.
you'll not be required to self-isolate if you live in the same household as someone with COVID-19 and if any of the following apply, right? So you don't have to isolate if you're fully vaccinated, you're below the age of 18 years and 6 months, you have taken part... I don't know what the 6 months is about. You have taken part or are currently part of an approved COVID-19 vaccine trial. And then the last one, you're not able to get vaccinated for medical reasons. That one got me. So
But you
right.
can still get
So
it.
if I live in a house, like if my wife got COVID-19
Yeah.
and she was positive, and I live in the same house as her, but on medical grounds I couldn't be vaccinated because, you know, there's concerns that the vaccine would be worse for me than whatever. Apparently I don't have to isolate and I just go about my business. And I'm like,
Oh, man.
how is
That's
what?
insane. That's
I
actually
don't understand that. I don't understand that, because if you can be vaccinated but you haven't yet through your own choice, then you have to isolate. That's the part that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because it's the same. It's the same thing. You're just not vaccinated, but
Yeah.
one's a choice and one isn't. And so
That's
I don't.
fucking-
It made no sense to me, and I'm like, who wrote this?
Just at a gig,
wrote this?
just at a gig spreading COVID to everybody.
Yeah, you know, and be like, sorry, well, I don't have to isolate, guys. I
Those are the
medically
rules.
can't be vaccinated. Those are the rules. Freaking Boris, man. Is he in there writing these? Probably. I don't know. Yeah, so that's what I mean. I think that's why I'm still uneasy. I was like, that makes no sense. So, I don't know. But the good news is I got both vaccines. I've got my 5G. My phone upgraded there whenever I got it.
It's,
The nanobots are in.
Sometimes I can hear the voice.
I tell you what, I can tell that Scott hasn't been double vaccinated yet, because look at the quality of this connection. It's freaking terrible. He would be crisp and clear if he had both vaccines.
He got a
I get my
vaccination.
second jab on Sunday, and I'm telling you, boys, I'll be on this again, and I'll be like crystal clear, full K.
Love it.
He hasn't even got his first jab yet. It was some guy in an alleyway that was like, "Here, just close your eyes."
Yeah, whenever you can't get booked in. Like, Man,
He was like,
I
lads,
know-
is that normal? My butt was sore after.
Ouch.
There's just so much
Oh,
COVID
man.
up in the post. It's just like wrecked my camera. Even my phone has COVID.
I am literally hearing parts of this conversation. It's so muffled. It sounds like you have I don't know, your head's in a bag or something. I don't know. It sounds like you're wearing a mask, like a COVID mask, and you're doing this show with one over you. For audio listeners, just, you know what? Just imagine that. Just imagine Scott's doing the whole podcast with a mask on. For safety.
Apologies. Again.
What was I gonna say there?
It's like being...
yeah, it is. Well, yeah. Fucking don't go back to those times.
It doesn't matter who you are.
What matters is I'm blood.
Jesus Christ, we've already descended into something else here. Yeah, I'm actually I'm surprised I was okay to do this podcast because I just got that the second job yesterday, and I felt like absolute shit until
Pfizer or AstraZeneca?
AstraZeneca. There you go. The bad
Bad
one.
blood clots, man.
Yeah, me and Andy both got the blood clot one. We're like, oh shit. But so far so good. So far no blood clots, so bonus. But yeah, I was like, it's funny just how it's like, it hits you like straight away. This sort of, I start feeling unwell.
It's like
then switches off immediately as well. Yeah, it's like, is that from experience? Jesus Christ, dude, what the hell? But you know what? People tell me I talk about COVID too much, so we need to move on. Right. So,
what would you have done if me and Scott were like hardcore?
Anti-vax or something?
Deniers being like scamdemic.
Probably just do this and remove you guys from the show.
No.
Immediately. Yeah, whatever. To each their own, guys. To each their own. But right, the positive note, the moving forward note is with restrictions lifting and shows, I say coming back, I mean they are back essentially. Yeah. Matt, you were just telling me before we started the show you played a couple cover shows already, having returned from the old pandemic. How did that go? How did you find it?
Oh man, they were weird. Like, well, I don't know.
Is there regulations in place still? Like, did you have to?
So if you're outside, you don't have to. Well, now you can play as loud as you want, but at the start, if you were outside, it's ambient. So
I remember that
when you were
ruling.
outside, you had to play. Yeah, you can play as loud as you want, but if you're inside, it's ambient. So that's basically like.
Yes, it had to be that no one would raise their voices, and I'm like, who on earth is trying to?
And then they're like, you're in between songs, but now people are just insane, man. Like, you're constantly like getting them and they're singing along, but then they try and get up and dance. You're like, no, sit down.
No dancing, no dancing.
You feel like Footloose. You're like, don't do this.
Oh god, I've made that comparison so many times on this show. Every time that there was that law that came in, it's like no dancing. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this?
No dance.
So is that still a rule? You can't dance at a show? Can you still not do that?
Well, I can dance, but
but other people cannot.
I don't think people can. Yeah, I think you still have to remain seated. I
wasn't too sure.
I feel like it's really cloudy at the minute still. Like, is it, you know, why they were talking like earlier in the year about no real roadmap for like music, because
yes,
like we were sort of thinking, because we've obviously a gig coming up, and it's not really been made clear when, you know, we're going to be able.
He's gone.
Oh,
He's gone. He's back.
He's back. He's back.
He's slightly, he's back now. Your audio cut out so much there, Scott.
So annoying. As I was saying there, like
he actually didn't put us mood. He was just going.
Yeah, he didn't know where he was going with that, and he just started cutting out. Sorry, you know what? Let's rewind. Go through your point again.
Right, I'm back. Okay. No, as I was saying, like there was no real roadmap, and like we've a gig coming up, and we were sort of like thinking like there's been no like date given for like when people are actually allowed to get up and dance. You know, or just even get up. And like,
yeah, that's what I wasn't sure about, because it seems to be the case, and I know that, like you said, there was a lot of complaints about how they're, like, for musicians, there really wasn't anything compared to things like sporting events. There was very clear rulings on that, or even church. There was like pretty clear rulings as well, and it's like the old musicians always get forgot about. We didn't have any rules, any sort of idea of how things are meant to operate anymore. So I mean,
Why you look at England and there's just people are just going nuts now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. There's no rules over there anymore. It's kind of just a free for all, right? But like that's I don't know, because there's a lot of shows being announced now, so that's what I think's a bit like interesting. Is like how many shows are planned for October, especially. In places like the Limelight and everything has loads of shows booked for October, and obviously most people's thinking is that we'll just be able to do things as usual, business as usual by October. Seems to be the ruling here. So I
think what'll happen is it'll probably be the same as like the way the States are doing it and the way England's doing it. Is you'll have to show proof of vaccination even if it's a local gig.
Yeah, I think that's well, I say the fear. Like, I mean, there's not. I suppose there's not really a problem with it, but they're
all trying to get in there. You know, they're just they're trying to control us.
I still have this bit of paper whenever I joked about how easy it was to fake a vaccination card last time, although my light's too bright.
Oh, it literally just says vaccine on it, or vaccination or something.
I was saying, it doesn't take much to fake the vaccination card. Like, this is all you need. You just walk in and they're like, look, this is from my doctor.
But, it needs to be worse writing than that.
But that's what I mean. It's just like a little cardboard thing. Like, whenever I got my second vaccination yesterday, the girl said to me, make sure you hold on to that. I would even take a photograph of it in case you need it for anything. I was like, and this is the easiest thing to fake in the world. Like,
I did that too. I took a photo and laminated mine.
I know. So a photo of it will suffice. As like, how easy is it just to Photoshop?
They're like, but that's not your name.
Did the guy just rub it out?
The guy that I got said that this is going into the database for something to be sent out eventually for a form of ID.
If it's like a COVID passport, as they say, that's what they've been talking about for ages. But then that's why a lot of people got pissed off about that, because you're like,
I'm probably showing my age here, but I remember when I was in school, when you got all the jabs and shit, you had a yellow book where you had all your like fucking.
Yeah, you must be showing your age, because I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
The yellow book?
Yeah.
The yellow book? Was that just for you?
Yeah, just for me. Yeah.
A special book for
that was me.
The old yellow book.
I wore armbands and everything whilst eating soup.
The only jabs that I remember from school is the BCG.
Oh yeah,
and
they don't do that.
They don't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, but you still had your mark from it. You used to show it off, being like,
yeah, I've still got it now.
Yeah, that's where I got the BCG. Watch out.
Watch out. I've been through battles, baby. Somebody told me this, because I didn't know that they don't do it anymore. And then there was somebody I was talking to, and they had kids who were in school, and they're like, yeah, they don't do the BCG now. They don't do the 6 needles or anything. I was like,
yeah.
What? Really? And I was just like, so why do we do it? I was like, I don't know.
Anti-vaxxers, man.
Anti-vaxxers. Because do they still do tetanus? Because I got that while I was at school as well, a tetanus shot.
I think you get that when you're young. Do you get it when you're young?
I think you do. But like, I got it while I was in high school. But I don't know. And I passed out of that one too. I passed out for my tetanus shot, and I passed out for my first COVID vaccine. So amazing.
Yeah, the nurse had to sit with me for my first COVID vaccine.
Oh really? Oh shit.
She's like, I'm just scared. She's like, you alright? I'm like, I'm scared of needles.
I will not repeat the story. I had a whole story on one episode about my experience, and it was just like, classic me. I pass out all the time.
Fella. She was like, you're a big fella. You can handle this. And I'm like, oh,
well, that's a weird thing. Is like, I don't even have fear of needles, but for some reason, whenever I get injections or see the slightest thing of blood from myself, I'm just like, I go down hard.
Yeah, you freak out. I'm the same.
It's so weird. I don't even feel like I'm gonna panic or anything, but then I just like, I feel the blood draining from my face. I'm like, oh no, that's not good, and then hit the ground.
Do you watch it go in?
No, I do not. I do not watch it go in. No way. I don't want to see it. And I think the reason I passed out the first time was just because the lady that was doing it kept telling me how much my arm was bleeding. She told me it was unusual, and I'm like, no, don't tell me that.
It's happening again.
I know. I was like, I need that blood. I need it back in there.
He starts
I don't know.
drinking. He starts drinking the blood.
Trying to put it back in. I got low blood pressure in my family, so it's like I lose a drop and like my whole body fails me. It's over. It's over. Man, you're bringing me off track more than I usually do on this show.
Sorry,
I need to
dude.
refer back to the notes. Yeah. So, what was I talking about before? Oh yeah, with regulations lifting. So, have you guys discussed? I know, like I was saying there, like you've played a couple of shows, Matt. But they were cover shows with your other band, I.
Aye.
Aye. They are called I, by the way. AYE exclamation mark. Do we put that in there? Yes.
You can, yeah.
You can or you can't. Whatever you want. But yeah, I would put the exclamation mark. I vote on exclamation mark. Put that in
Fancy
there.
her doing that.
But they were cover shows. So have you got any plans for the first Lonely Astronauts original show coming back? Have you got something set up?
Yeah, so we've got a date booked for the Atlantic Bar in Portrush on the 11th of September.
Okay.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's still going ahead. We've been preparing for it the last couple of weeks. We've put like a set list together and tried to actually remember what it's like to play a show.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully it is like somewhat a normal experience to play a show at that time, and it's not going to be weird. Everyone
Yeah.
sitting down,
That's what
you
I'm
behind a
hoping for.
screen type deal.
Like
Oh,
like
did you
when
have to play behind a screen?
some bars, yeah,
Right,
you have to.
right.
It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird, dude. I actually meant to ask that whenever you're talking about playing outside. Like, if you've played inside,
Outside's
then
fine,
and you have
but
to do the screen thing,
Inside, you have to do the screen.
and everyone has to sit down, and there's no dancing. Yeah, I forgot about
That
that.
must have been a hell of a distraction. Did you feel like you had to like amplify your voice more because you were like just blocked
Oh,
off from
yeah.
everybody?
Yes, kinda, but like I don't know. The screen is weird, but then you kind of get used to it, and you're like, "This is
Yeah.
actually quite nice." Because now people can't come up and be like, "You play wagon wheel?"
Oh god.
Wagon Wheel? What's that song? I've never heard of that in my fucking life. Is that a song? Wagon Wheel?
You never heard wagon wheel?
What is that?
No
That used
way.
to be like the Northern Irish national anthem from like
It's like-
2012 to
Oh,
2000.
Rockin'
God.
me, mama, like a wagon wheel.
Oh yeah, do you not know that? I know that.
Maybe I would need to hear it. I have no idea what that is.
If you go to
I'm lost.
bowling clubs, if you used to go to bowling clubs,
I was gonna say,
you
is
would know.
this one of those things I'm not privy to, Andy? Like British
No, it's not a
children's
Canadian
television.
thing. No, it's just that you haven't been to bowling clubs thing.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Peter
Yeah.
Kay, Phoenix Nights.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Come on.
Well, I know. What's that? Tie a yellow ribbon round the. But what's that song called? You tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. That's a song, right? That seems like a thing from. Why does nobody know
It's
that one
hilarious
and I
that
do?
Nobody knows that.
Holy shit! What's happening? Why do I know that? Isn't that a
know.
thing? I'm looking it up. I got to right now because I feel like I'm losing my mind.
It's either wagon wheel or black and yellow, you know. People
Like,
Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree from
Never heard of this.
1973. No, come on, you've got like God. If you know a song called Wagon Wheel, you're bound to know this.
did I ever
did-
tell you about the wagon wheel?
What?
Did I ever tell you about the wagon wheel? Or how wagon wheels were made? Or came to be?
Wagon wheels. Is that what the song's about? The biscuit.
No idea. No, it's about a man heading on a southbound train.
Heading down south to the land of the pines. I'm thumbing my way into North Carolina. Ew. Thumbing my way.
Must have been happy.
She must have
Ew.
loved it life.
Ew. This song is disgusting. It's vile. I do not condone this song at all. Thumbing your way anywhere. Yeah, so Atlantic Bar, 11th of September. Hey, do you guys know at all? Because it's something we talked about a long time ago, and I've really never followed up on it, but is the Atlantic Bar staying open? There was a whole thing about it being shut down. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
think
you've
it
heard
is.
anything about
I think it is staying open. Oh God, he's
Yeah.
gone.
Oh, Scott's gone altogether. It was only a matter of time, wasn't it? before that completely went away.
He's
That
dead.
connection was terrible.
Yeah, I think it's still staying open because they're looking for
Yeah.
bar staff and stuff at the minute, and they're
Seriously? Well, that's good
well,
news because there was
it's-
a whole thing about it being tore down. I think it was something to do with some golf tournament that was going to be
Yeah,
on or something like that.
I think it's been kept because that's a really popular
Yeah.
bar. Like people
Well,
love it,
yeah, there was a lot of protests against it, but
and like
it's
big
good to know
bands,
that it
big
actually
bands have
worked.
played there as well. Like as I watch you from afar and
afar,
stuff,
yeah.
they've played there, and loads of big bands play there. I think Gary Lightbody popped in once and did like a
yeah,
pop
I
up
mean,
show on it and stuff. You
it's
know,
been around for so long, but that's pretty good news.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Oh,
back. Scott's
he's
back.
back.
He's returned.
I'm back again, boys. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
It's
You're
been an absolute nightmare.
okay. We've been saying that it's very reminiscent of early Andy on the podcast before we had any equipment. And Andy sort of sounded like a Air Force pilot or something. He was our man on the scene. We would always say.
Man on the field, the reporter on the field.
Yeah, reporter in the field.
I'm coming back with like a 4K screen, the best mic ever.
Yep, you got to now. I mean, man, it took us like how many years have we been doing this show, Andy? Like, I only have a setup that's pretty like decent in the last couple of episodes, like with lights and everything. Like, look at this shit. Like, this is how it would look if I didn't have lighting. That's it. You need to get one of these, Andy. You're so dark.
No, my baldy head gives me the reflects the light I need from that one. Hangs off and lights up. That's it. That's all the light I need.
So, Atlantic Bar. Any other shows planned? Or is that the only one at the minute?
just at the minute we've got a few ideas for Belfast shows, like,
Okay.
but it's just all depending on restrictions because I think ideally we're actually planning to go back into the studio soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Right. Okay.
Yeah, because the plan was to try and do a full length originally.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay.
But whether or not we do that and maybe just keep doing singles, I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Again,
Yeah,
an age-old
just a-
argument.
Just a quick question. Are you going to do anything more from like, not Zoom, but like video
a live
shows, or are you just going to always just wait for that live show in
Well,
a venue?
the Zoom thing was, or the live thing was something we talked about doing, but just the logistics of it don't really
Yeah.
Yeah.
work, I think. Plus, we don't have a bass player. So
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
people are always like, you guys don't have a bass player, but you just, because me and Maroon kind of just turn everything up to the max and just play really. I play
Yeah.
really bassy chords anyway, so
Yeah.
You're essentially the bassist playing guitar.
yeah.
Is that something
Sorry.
that you've always been just keen on, being a three-piece with two guitars, or is it something that you've wanted as a bass player to come into the band?
We've had a few bass players play with us, but it's never gelled.
They don't stay.
Yeah, well, it's our problem. We it's because we're like, right, topless hugs, and
Yeah, well, you can't do that anymore.
You have to
You
send-
try
you
and
have
get
to-
somebody in post-COVID.
you have to send some photos, to me,
You
and
send
I'll
nudes
see.
first.
Yeah, I'll see if
Yeah.
you're up to scratch. No,
It sounds like a very hostile environment being part of one of those. Like, I feel like you're gonna be sued soon by someone.
It's like
It'll be
it's like a 50s thing where they're like, you want to be a star, don't you? We're like, you want to be an ass or not? Come on.
Sophie Porter is the Harvey Weinstein of
Jesus Christ. That sounds terrible.
No,
I don't
they've all been nice people. But it's just not. It's just not worked because one of them joined another band, and it just didn't work scheduling wise. And one of them,
Yeah.
it just didn't gel.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's just because the three of us are so close knit.
It is. I get that, and it is pretty difficult. Like, I mean, even whenever I did hit the B button, like the alternative band I was part of for years, like we had that same problem. It was actually like mostly always would work as a 3-piece for the longest time. Is like the only people I would play music with would be Phil, who was the guitarist in the band, and Adam, who was the drummer. And we just played music together forever. And really, the only person who eventually could become a part of that was my brother, because we were in the same friend circle. So he's like the only one close enough that it would make sense. But we could just, it was too hard to open up to anyone else. We went through a time of trying to get other people involved in the band, but it's just, it was tough, you know? It's like you say, if you don't have that closeness, especially if everyone else does, it's like, how do you bring someone in and let them be a part of that? If you've been so close for years. So that's what we always had, to just be that. And it's good we turned into a 4-piece eventually with my brother, but yeah, it was the only thing that was going to work.
Obviously, Matt and Ryan, you knew each other for like since school.
Yeah, we went to school together.
And I came up for that first jam, like, and I didn't know you. Like, I met you like once. That one time you grabbed me, and you know,
I was in another band. He was in another band. We played the same show. I was drunk, and like a girl, I was like, "Can I have your number?"
Oh dear Lord.
Like,
I'm just sorry, it's kind of cracking me up just because like the phone quality and stuff. I feel like it's like you're giving like some sort of court testimony over Zoom.
You're making him so insecure.
It's like
about the phone quality.
It's like that Drake Bell video going about.
Oh yeah, where he had to Did you guys see about that? Like Drake from Drake and Josh was being like tried for child endangerment.
Have you seen that someone's like edited and keeps putting in like the laughing tracks for like?
Oh yeah, they do. They put in the sitcom laughter. Yeah, so it's like they try and say that he's guilty of child endangerment. It's like just gives you one of these, and you're like, oh, that's so awkward. But the thing that got me the most about the video was I did see the laugh track edited one, but it was like, before he is on the proper thing, you can see him like trying to fix his hair, getting ready for his court Zoom, and then somebody hits you with one of these, like getting ready for his child endangerment fucking court case. It's bad times whenever Drake is going to jail, you know.
No, but what I was gonna say there is I think it's just the three of us click so well, and the moment we started playing together, it was like, this is great crack. Like,
we made like a baby. We made Symphony.
Our first one of our
Symphony,
first singles.
yes. I was listening to Symphony earlier. I was listening to all your songs earlier in preparation for tonight. Songs that I have like honestly listened to before, but obviously like we even talked before we went on the show there about, you know, you go away from local music for a bit and then you come back in with a sort of like, right, I want to find this band and this band or whatever. So whenever we talked about getting you guys on the show, I was like, right, I need to get back into Lonely Astronauts and sort of remind myself. Yeah. Although, man, I've been loving the new one ever since you brought it out, which I do plan to talk about. But what we'll do is we'll hit a quick commercial break. If anyone needs to use the bathroom or get themselves a drink or whatever, you got about 3 minutes. Fix the camera, get a new microphone, go out and buy new equipment.
You know what you should do? You should set up a mirror in front of you and just use the other camera.
Oh my god, that's genius.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Right, commercial break, guys. We'll be back shortly.
Hey there, fresh-faced creative in a youthful advertising demographic. Does your reading material have a distinct lack of cultural nourishment for your slowly decaying, malnourished soul? Stop! Put that garbage down. Everyone knows you shouldn't get your news from old mediums like paper. That's 2/8 century. Plug into the information superhighway, loser, and read a zine. It's like a magazine, but without all that dumbass paper. Read Stranger Days, the arts and culture e-zine. It's got music, comedy, art, poetry, tarot cards, cinema, Year Spaceship, comics, podcasts, and Jim Carrey. Read Stranger Days now, because between you, me, and your trusty canine companion, we know fluffy cuddles and easings are the only way to push back the existential dread slowly consuming your every waking moment. Hold back the darkness today with Stranger Days. Available now at strangerdays.wordpress.com.
If you want to wrap your ears around all the music we've been talking about on the podcast, we run a special playlist over on Spotify. It's called Distant Sound Waves. Here over at Six Set, bro, we always thought, well, what's the gosh darn point of doing a music podcast if you can't let people hear any music? There is a whole lot of legal mumbo jumbo and copyright issues that prevent us from actually doing that on the pod. So we thought that was a pretty good compromise. We make a playlist and it gets updated every single month. On the playlist, we have things like all the new singles from local homegrown talent that we've talked about. Maybe some of the bigger artists that we've had conversations about, we'll put those guys on there. Or maybe it's just something new that we stumbled across and we've been talking about on the podcast. It is all there. You can find Distant Sound Waves by searching for it on Spotify, or you can find the links all over our social medias. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Currently, I'm the only one back. Oh, Matt's back. That's okay. I thought everyone's piece of technology had just broken there instantly.
We just decided. That's it.
We're just cutting Scott. We're just cutting him. He's just gone.
So go home. We love you. You're very special.
Scott's out of here. He's gone.
Do you know what? Do you know what I love with that Trump one? Do you ever see the memes that are like, it's like, is it Ruth Bader
Ginsburg? Yeah.
Dies, and he's like, wow, I'm just hearing that for the first time. I didn't know.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
But like people, it's like when your mom like tells you dinner's ready. Like,
yeah. Wow, I'm just hearing that for the first time. Yeah, there's so many good Trump ones. Yeah, but that one, I think I did that one to death for the end of the show, so it gets used from time to time now. But yeah, although Andy gets annoyed if I promote Trump at all. I'm not trying to promote him in a good light, not by any means.
I watched this really weird video the other day of Biden where it was like the whole presidency was a dream inside his head. Someone had actually like sat there.
Yeah, I mean, most of the jokes with Biden is just that he's super old and doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, and the whole thing was just that clip of Trump being like, "Sleepy Joe Biden."
Jesus Christ. I don't even. Yeah.
What did I walk into?
Politics, Andy. Politics.
This
Great job.
This is the politics show now. No, look, that was the quick commercial break. I think we're starting to gradually all come back. Andy's emptied his bladder. Scott, his whole, I don't know, everything got destroyed. He left the show entirely for the second time, and he might be back.
Oh,
there he is. He's back, and his camera's not dirty.
His camera's clean.
Right, okay. I had to steal Clara's phone.
That's his lady. That's his lady.
His lady friend.
That's a new way to describe it.
Yep, love it. Well, at least we can actually see your face, so that's good.
This is it. I don't actually have a disease.
Just the black spot was
Well,
pirate Scott. That's what
Like
you got on
anyone
your
that was
camera.
watching was probably like thinking that guy's got some serious issues.
he's got some burns.
Yeah.
Some burns on his face. Yeah. So, welcome back to the show. Before we jump in, I want to talk a bit about the single, guys. But I think before that, I just need to give everyone. We've been following it this far, so we gotta do the Kanye West Donda update. Sorry, everyone.
Is it yeah, is it nay? Nobody knows it's yeah.
What the fuck was that? Kanye?
Yeah. By the way, Scott, I will be muting you from time to time because I'm getting a little bit of reverb back. But I'll bring you off whenever you're speaking. Don't worry.
You can tell he's a Kanye fan. All about that audio.
all about that crisp audio, guys. So Kanye, we don't need to recap. If you've been listening to the show, you know.
Do you know what you should say? Kanye. Who cares at this point?
What the
I'm
fuck
actually-
was
I'm-
that?
I'm actually excited. I'm actually excited to hear it.
No, so am I. But
Yeah, so, right, after all the drama that's been going on, we've been waiting so long for this Donda record, what a lot of people thought seems to be coming true in that there's going to be a third public listening party, fourth altogether, because he had a private one first for friends and family, and then he had 2 listening parties in Atlanta, and now he's going to have a third one in Chicago. And he just announced that today.
He's from Chicago, isn't he?
He is from Chicago, yes. So his manager, not that this means anything at this point, but his manager says he's definitely dropping the album after the third listening party. Yeah, I mean, if you want to believe that, go ahead. Whatever.
I have a theory.
Who knows when it'll drop? But what I would say that I thought was kind of interesting, you know, as Kanye fans like to read into things quite a lot. Somebody made an observation of him trying to tell a story through these live performances, sort of an unspoken thing. Yeah, I feel Andy's going to get annoyed because he's going to think it's a stretch.
Why does everything have to be a fucking story with that guy?
Because it is.
Oh, we're looking so deep. He's so deep, man. He's so deep.
I'm going to mute you next.
He's
Andy.
doing the live events to boost the streams that are going to count to the album sales. That's why he's doing 3.
Yeah, but he's man. It's promotion. It's good promotion.
There's no
right?
story. There's no story.
So what people are saying, the story is, if it's true, is that he's telling the story of like heaven and hell, pretty much. So like they're saying that first listening party, he was in the red outfit depicting hell. There was absolutely no, you know, backdrop. There was nothing that happened at the live show. No sort of performers, anything. It was just a barren wasteland. And it was just him and the music playing. So he's trying to depicting, like, him in hell, pretty much. The second listening party, he was dressed all in black, and it was meant to be him in somewhat of a purgatory in-between state, where it was just him with his everyday life. The only thing on stage was, like, a bed and, you know, a place where he could work out and stuff, and they had people walking around him, and they done that, like, 24-hour live stream.
That's amazing.
So people were saying like this is you know, this was him sort of getting on with the boring sort of monotonous things in your life, just trying to get on with things despite, you know, him.
I'm gonna do that at the next Lonely Astronauts gig.
Bringing celebrities
Just
into
put a bed on the
Hey,
guy.
I'm a
Yeah.
Purgatory. Come be on my song.
So,
start doing dumbbells in the middle of it.
Yeah, and then people are then predicting that the third one is gonna have sorry, I should have mentioned as well that the second live show, the Purgatory one, if that's gonna be true, inverted commas, he ascended to the heavens at the end. I don't know if you guys seen this at all, but up on ropes, he ascended to the heavens at the end, like God had chosen him. Yeah, we say he with quotes because people say it wasn't actually Kanye and it was a stunt double. And Kanye looked like he was in the crowd. So
was his last album not a gospel album anyway?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. He's all religious now. Yeah.
Jesus Walks, isn't it?
No, that was you're
Jesus
going way
is
back,
King?
dude.
Jesus Walks when he actually put music out on time.
Yeah, Jesus Walks was like the first Kanye record. Jesus is King was the last album he brought
Jesus
out.
is King is what it was called. Yeah.
I haven't listened since my, you know, the one with the bipolar album cover.
Yes, Yay. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't listened since and Life of Pablo sort of let me down a bit. So.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that a while ago. See, I am a big Kanye fan, but I know he's also ridiculous. I do get that. So, anyways, the people are predicting now with the Chicago show to sort of do this. I'm sure someone will come up with like a Holy Trinity thing, like idea or something as well for this. But they think that there's going to be a lot of heaven imagery now that he's been chosen by God and brought up to the heavens. It'll probably be all white and heavenly. So if we see that, then the theory may be right, or everyone could just be fucking wrong. I don't know. But that's
just going, what are they saying? That is genius.
that I'm taking that.
story.
I'm taking that idea. That is so fucking good. But you know what? That's where we're at. next listing party 20th of August, I think, and his manager says the record's coming out after. Although what made me laugh is like people asked him on Twitter like, will the record drop after? And he's like, yeah, 100% definitely. And I was like, yeah, well, obviously it'll drop after, but the question is how soon after? Like 5 years after? Like, I mean,
It was meant to come out like last month, wasn't it? Like
it's meant to have came out quite a few times. Quite a few times. There's been many dates. Oh, and now Matt's gone. We're losing people at a crazy rate here.
Now you've got no choice.
Yeah, now I have to unmute you, Scott. Oh, there he is.
Is
He's
it
back.
really bad?
I disappeared.
There he is. No, I'm just getting I was getting some reverb from time to time, so I thought whenever I'm talking shit about Kanye, I'll mute you so it doesn't come back through. But it actually doesn't seem too bad, no.
Anyway, everything I'm saying is literally just for podcast stuff. I can't wait for the.
Yeah,
you know,
it'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah, look, that's where
It is
we're
getting
at.
it's getting tiresome though. I mean, just
It is I will admit it's getting frustrating. I get that.
Lauren Hill has come out of retirement, appeared on a Nas album, gone again, and Kanye still hasn't released an album.
I know.
Is he still
I
with
know.
Kim Kardashian? Or is that?
No, that's over. That's over.
That is over.
She showed
That
up
is
in a
over.
gimp suit to his friends and family one, didn't she? She did. She showed up with like a ski mask on and stuff.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but he's been wearing ski masks as well. He's selling merch of ski masks.
Oh yeah,
for the
300.
album.
Yeah, 300
They're
pound
like
jacket. It's all for
$300 or
God though,
whatever.
you know. It's all for.
Oh, for God.
Yeezys.
It's all for yeah. It's not for Gap or Adidas at all. So.
Here, do you know what's
Forgot.
weird on Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian?
That is weird. Although she got him to fly on a plane.
Yeah,
Just-
I know what.
Yeah, so it's the first time he flew on a plane in, I can't even remember how many years now.
Anything for one of those scented candles.
Amazing. I can't even say anything because Travis gets like, and I do like Travis, but man, he gets pretentious sometimes with his like.
Oh yeah.
He has his like CBD oil for animals, and I'm like, what? And it was like it's CBD like vegan oils for animal. And I'm like, oh my God.
He
Alright.
owns like a couple of vegan restaurants, I think.
He does, and I'm like, look, I'm vegetarian, man. Like, I don't. It's not even that. It was just like the most specific thing of the like CBD vegan oils for animals, not even for people. Like, so what? It's meant to like heal your dog's like bad legs. You rub this CBD oil on it or something. I'm like,
But why does he have to put vegan in front of CBD though?
I don't know. And that was
Is
a
it
big
just to be
question.
just to put it out there?
Yeah,
Vegan,
just-
vegan, vegan.
vegan. Well, I don't know. The thing is, like, the vegan thing is also the fact that stuff isn't tested on animals. That's sort of the Do you remember we talked about this not that long ago? Whenever we were talking about the like loads of these crazy anti-vaxxers in America were talking about how they were gonna say that they were
back.
vegan to not get the vaccine, and we were trying to figure out why. And at first I thought it was to do with the ingredients list, but I was way off in that. I mean, they've announced what's in the vaccine. I'm full of shit. I was trying to put something together, but it turns out the reason why they're saying that they're vegan is because the COVID vaccine was tested on animals. And so that's another part. So being vegan isn't just about like if something's made from animal parts, but also if it had been used and tested on
Yeah.
it. So if something's vegan, it needs to have never done
But
harm.
they
to
also
an
don't
animal.
shut up about it, you know.
Yeah.
So nobody can go near me then.
Oh god. Got him again. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, look, as long as you're not harming anybody, I don't really care. Like I say, I'm
Just joking.
I know, but I like to talk from a point of we all have different points of view on this show, my friend. I'm a vegetarian. I'm not vegan. I don't think I could do the vegan thing. Sometimes it feels a bit far for me, but you know, been vegetarian for like 2 years now, and that's my thing, and I do it for my own reasons, and that doesn't matter. Whatever, you know, whatever. And people can talk shit if they want to talk shit. I don't care.
Stop defending. Stop defending. It's alright. It's alright.
Get off my back, everyone! But I do think it's a stretch when you start making vegan CBD oils for your pets.
Yep.
I think that's a step too.
I
I
have
think that
a-
says I have too much money. And I don't know what to do with it anymore.
Buy a
That
monkey.
brings us back to the scented
You know,
candles.
Scented candles, yeah. I have a
what I would
finale
do.
for the Donda thing.
Yeah.
He split up with Kim. They got divorced, obviously. Then he's in hell. Purgatory. Ascends. They get back together at the launch party.
What a great storyline.
It's all a plan.
It's all a plan.
It's
I
all
like
a
it.
rollout.
Let's do it. Let's do it, Kanye. Let's make that happen. And then Travis Barker's on the last track because he's part of the family now.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be
Fine.
something? When are Travis and Kanye gonna work together? Seeing as they have the Kardashian ties.
Fine.
Let's make that happen. Their family. I don't know, but that's where we're at with Donda. We don't need to talk about it anymore, but I feel like we've been talking about it so much that I need to
See you
let people
next
know
week
when
for
there's an
another
update.
update.
You see you next week for another yay or nay.
Is it yeah or is it nay? Nobody knows it's yay.
What the fuck was that? Kanye?
You guys enjoying these stingers?
Brilliant. I'm fucking loving these.
There's so many. I don't even use half of them. I didn't even use my I haven't used Smarten Up Dumbass in a long time because I've been too positive. I have a segment where I like to complain about stuff. But yeah, it's been quite a few episodes since I've used it, Andrew.
I don't use it for me because the show will be 8 hours long.
It would pretty much. We may as well just start Andy's own podcast called Smarten Up Dumbass, and the whole thing is just him complaining. But yeah, but usually, I'll give you an example. This is what would happen, seeing as we're enjoying the stingers right now.
Time to get real mad. Time to talk shit about the things we can't stand. Ain't nobody out there's getting a pass. Smarten up, dumbass.
Hey, Travis Barker, stop making vegan CBD oils for pets. All right.
Time to get real mad. Time to talk shit about the things we can't stand. Ain't nobody out there's getting a pass. Smarten up, dumbass.
That's how that works.
I feel like you need to release these as like.
That's why you gotta come to the show for it. This is what I do. My soundboard used to be 3 sounds, and now it's like absolutely filled with noises.
Goes away and mass produces.
It's like the life of Pablo.
Dude, I even like I did consider, Andy, going in and editing the podcast song that we did for the 50th episode. That was a full scale song. But it was for the 50th episode, but I thought maybe we could just edit it and say the 60th episode now. It was intense though. It's like a proper pop song.
Everything. Oh, God, he's doing it.
Misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I'm your host, I'm Maple.
60th.
Episode is a podcast for your ass. And everybody wants to do a podcast, but nobody can do a podcast like we do a podcast. Everybody wants a podcast, but nobody podcast like we podcast. We gon' podcast all day, all night, every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Always too long. Always too long.
Probably
Intro's
not
always too long.
Sunday, 'cause Sunday is my rest day. I chill out on a Sunday, but
Yeah, it's like 5
I
minutes.
feel like I'm at a Cobra Starship concert.
It's like Little Dick. It's like Little Dicky.
Little Dicky, yeah. It is. It's like a 5-minute long song about how we do a podcast for the 50th episode. I felt like we needed to do something to celebrate because we talked about how big the benchmark episode of the 50th one was going to be, and then we planned nothing. And we kept talking. We had all these big plans. We never did anything. But that just describes the show. That just describes the show. We come up with the plan for the show 5 minutes before the show.
Correct.
And we're also 15 minutes late. Amazing. Right, so back on track, putting the wheels back on. I'll get my little spanner out that I use to put the wheels back on the show. I don't know. This has been sitting here for like 6 weeks, and I made a joke about it that first time. Andy was like, "That's to put the wheels back on," and I was like, "It's been there ever since. I've never moved it. So whenever the wheels fall off, we put them back on with the little tiny spanner."
There it is.
Lonely Astronauts, guys, new single out, coming home. How long have you guys had this one in the bank is what I want to know. Was this pre-COVID recorded, or is this you guys back since being
This is
able
us
to enter
back.
studio?
This is us
So
back.
you
We
guys
recorded
were in the
this
studio recently?
Well, just before the end of 2020.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So you guys recorded it before?
The second
Before it was
lockdown
like
type thing at Christmas.
Yes. Yeah, right, okay. Right. So,
Um,
what did you say, Christmas 2020? So is this sort of like pandemic started, but then it eased off, and you could go to the
Yeah.
studio?
We went
and
to the
then
studio and recorded this. Yeah.
It got crazy bad again.
yeah. I
So
think
you
the
we
waited.
plan
sat
was-
on it for a few months and just thought, we'll wait
Yeah.
till things die down a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, I get that.
We
yeah,
kind of, I kind of had a skeleton of it in, I'd say about 2019, the wee riff and stuff, but I never really had the lyrics. And then, not to get too personal, but I went through like a pretty harsh, like breakup. So during the COVID, I was like, I'm gonna
During
write just at the the start of it. So I was like,
yes, yeah.
I'm gonna write all these songs.
Yeah.
No,
Man, that's how you purge the emotions. That's the cathartic
Yeah.
experience. That's what we do as musicians.
So that one sort of rose to the top, and then we practiced the crap out of it when we were able to get back in the practice studios last year, and
Mhm.
we just said, you know what, let's not think about it. Let's just book a space, record it, do it super quick. And then we originally wanted to have it maybe out at that Christmas, but then we thought, you know what, we'll wait till we kind of know if we can play again,
Yeah.
you know.
Of course. Yeah, and it's something that we've brought up several times, is sort of like, as much as we want people to be bringing out music, because like we've we've done the show the whole way through the pandemic, and at times it becomes like a really dry week because a lot of bands didn't want to record anything, or well, even if they did record something, they didn't want to put something out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they're waiting for the live show to come back, but yeah, I think you guys are choosing a good time whenever things are coming back to bring it out, and genuinely, I am a big fan of the song. I've been listening to it a lot in the last week or so there, whenever it came out. I don't even know how long it's been out for, but it's whenever we were first talking about doing an episode together, and then you guys contacted me about that, and I was like, oh, check this song out. But it's it's quite funny because I think it was before we started streaming, we were talking about Blink-182. I don't think we've actually talked
It's
about
very
it on,
Blink. It's very
on
Blink,
stream.
isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah, I heard that whenever I listened to it, and I was like, I just feel that these guys are probably fans of like Blink-182.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear parts of that in there.
Me and Scott are massive fans. Ruin, the other fella, not so much, but me and Scott are like
Yeah,
die hard. Like
I
we'll
think I-
drift off. And,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like you get that from because it sounds like quite Blink-esque, and then all
There's
of a
like a
sudden there'll
big-
be like a little solo thing, and you're like, okay, well that's not like that's whenever you actually get some like dexterity in the riff, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's an
So
advanced
what else? What's the
Blink-182.
What's the other influences then? What's the? If not just Blink, what's?
I'd say we're big influenced by Foo Fighters, 100%.
Dave Grohl is
We-
my dad.
Yeah,
Dave Grohl's my dad.
but we like a lot of random music. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
like 80s songs and all that we're like, wouldn't it be funny if we just started like, putting out music like this, or because the
But that's-
drums in this are quite.
I was
I
gonna
think
say
they're quite disco-y. They're quite.
exactly what I was gonna say. It's very much a disco beat. I did keep thinking that. I was like, it's like a 70s disco beat sped up to the max. Like, I was trying to
like the
play that
cover
shit
of it.
earlier. I was like, holy
in the
good
in the
lord.
studio. That was quite funny, to be honest. Because we actually, usually you probably notice yourself recording. Drums are the first thing.
Yep.
We left the drums to the end.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
plot twist.
So we recorded to a beat, and we did the bass, guitar, vocals.
like,
and
as in,
then-
was it just a metronome, or did you have like a
No,
sampled
we had
beat
like
in there?
we had like a sampled beat in there.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
And then we got Scott in, and like it was basically like everyone shouting at him, like, "Go faster, go more dancing, more dancing."
Yeah, more dancing. Can I ask, was the so the beat that was on it, was it like the beat that ended up in the song? Was it disco?
No.
Is that what made you go that way? No.
No, it was like a pop punk beat, but we were like,
Oh,
no,
right,
let's
okay.
make
change it
this
up.
like, let's make this a bit more dancey and groovy.
Yeah. I was just wondering because I thought you were gonna tell me a story that's actually that would be very similar to what Blondie did on Heart of Glass, because they did something like that where they did the song to like a synth sort of beat, and then whenever they went to actually lay down the drums, they liked the beat so much that they tried to record the drums like the
beat.
808 thing that was there already, like this stupid, electronic disco beat. And so the live drums they tried to record like that, and they actually see, if you listen to it, you can hear it at the start. There's 2 tracks. They recorded the live drums over the top of the
Yeah, I think you can always hear the wee,
I did
like,
not know
click
this.
of the.
digital drums. Yeah, they're both on the track in the end, and they recorded the live drums over the digital ones,
That's
which
mad.
is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Because that song when we were recording it, like, I think it's the weird, like, I don't even know if you could notice, but there's a lot of stuff going on in that song. There's like 8 guitar parts,
Yeah,
but
there
they're all
is
just
definitely.
they're just layered.
I was gonna say there's parts where you can definitely hear the layers, especially with like the there's those parts that come in sort of in the later sort of, I don't know, 3/4 of the song that are like those octaved chords that are quite Blink-esque, and it does start sounding very big at that point. And I was like, that is a lot of layers. Like you can hear it all
But I think a
building
lot
up.
of that's down to like we worked with Graham from Half Bop Studios. don't
I
know
have
if you've
always
ever-
heard. I have never recorded at Half Bop, but I always hear great things. Like always.
So Graham hears things that you couldn't possibly, imagine. Like we've recorded like R.I.P. with another person and stuff in the past, but the single we put out prior to COVID, is like this big sort of heavy Foo Fighters song, and we remember like Graham was like, "What if you do this? What if you do this? What if you add this? What if you put this part? What if you sing it like that?" We were like, "Jesus." I didn't know like people actually give a shit. I just thought you go and pay them
Yeah.
your money and be like. So when we brought him this song, we had it worked out. He's like, "Nah, I don't think you should do that. I think you should do this instead." And
yeah.
maybe
But
grind
what's
it with this
cool.
sort of solo and stuff,
I think if you get people that, I mean, that's essentially an engineer that's also working as a producer for you, which
Yeah.
they don't have to do. I mean, they
Yeah.
could just be an engineer, but
Yeah, I feel like we've recorded songs in the past, and like whoever's been recording it has just like been silent. You
Yeah.
know, there's
Yeah.
there's no feedback, which is fair enough. But Graham is like,
yeah,
no, here maybe you should do that. Maybe you should do this. Oh, this would sound killer if you done this.
yeah.
And like we never got that with like.
And then he'd take the
Yeah.
guitar off you and be like,
Yeah.
And then he records himself.
"You're like, do we have to give him a writing credit for this song?" Do you know what I mean?
I get that. I mean, it's cool. Like we've worked with people before, especially even in B button, like the likes of Rocky O'Reilly. We worked with him, and it was sort of a thing where we talked about certain elements of a song, and whenever he got to know them, like we would go away and come back, and then he'd be like, "Well, I just wrote the synth part over the," and you're like, "Oh, damn, right, okay, that's cool." And he'd write like about 5 things, and you're like, "Well, obviously all 5. That's far too much." But there's so many things. It's like, oh, I just came up with all these little extra bits that I thought might be cool on the track, and like we kept a lot of them on the last EP that we made with him.
And is that
So-
something that like an engineer would do because they've been doing it for a while and they feel comfortable? Instead, and like if you were working with a new engineer, they don't want to interfere with the band and make them feel like, "What's this guy doing?" Also, you know what I mean? Just to build. Like,
Yeah,
some sort of-
I think it's the vibe, as well, because if you meet the other one, Ruin, like he'd be the tame one. When me and this boy to my right, well, he's on the right of my camera, are in a room together, it's kind of it just gets a bit strange, because I think me and Scott always try and like one up each other, so we try and see how weird we can be to someone new. So when we're in the studio, we
right.
like
okay.
we'll say something to each other, and like
Yeah.
it's like he
I
got
get
it
that.
like straight away. He's like, "All right, these boys are idiots. These 2 men are idiots."
I have 2 friends back home that are pretty much the same. So I know where you're coming from. It's like you get somebody new in a room and then you just look at each other and go, "Oh, this is gonna be a time."
Yeah, like there'd be like we play gigs and all with like people we've never met, and like Scott will be standing talking to them, and I'll just pants him, like in the middle of
Out of nowhere.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, I think it's like sort of what I was saying before is like it's almost like an engineer that acts as a producer, which I mean generally if you're say working on a higher level and you had all this money, like you would have those two separate individuals in a studio where one's a producer and one's your engineer. But like you know, whenever you're a band here and you're like trying to make something of yourself, you only have so much money. It's like you're going into a place, and if an engineer is, you know, trying to do both for you because he genuinely enjoys local music, then that's, I mean, it's great. That's what you're looking for. Is someone, as long as they're not stepping on your toes, it's they're sort of like suggesting things and actually having an input, which is massively important because you feel like a little demotivated if somebody's genuinely not taking an interest in what you're there to do.
Yeah, and we've had that because our first EP, we just wanted to get sort of songs out, but we felt like in hindsight we maybe should have did it the way we've done it with the past two songs, you know, sat and went, well, maybe figure this out a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's why I'm talking about if we're thinking long term what we're going to do next. I think we're just taking it song by song, you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's again something we've talked about so many times on this show is like, you know, whether you go for that full length album, whether you do the EP, whether you release a single at a time. I don't think there is a right answer. Not really, anyways.
What do you think? What do you think that is? Why do you think some people prefer just like the single, like, even though they've got a full album of singles? Why do you think is it just a comfort thing? I
think it's a comfort thing. I think like an album's a commitment. You know, I hadn't listened to an album in a long time, like a full thing, except last week the Killers brought out like this new Pressure Machine.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I seen it.
But I would suggest listen to it as an album. You know.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I went back, and I haven't been able to just listen to one song every time I put it on. I'm listening as an album again.
Right.
And I haven't done that in forever. But sorry, Scott, go ahead.
Sorry, this is just a complete U-turn. Like, on the basis of a local band, I think, you know, if you're able to bring out content, like, what's the word? Like, if you release an album, like the album's out and that's it, and you maybe like go away and like start writing another album and maybe not bring any content out for, you know, maybe a year or more. Whereas if you're like constantly releasing singles, you're constantly releasing content and you're constantly being relevant, you know.
Yeah. That's the thing.
But
is like you keep
isn't
it
that
going.
Isn't that where obviously with things obviously opening up, if you do release an album, isn't that where like not touring per se, but shows that comes into play, and then I guess singles at this point would probably make more sense.
Yeah, I kind of get it though, because if you're playing and you'd have like an album out or like a full length, like an EP or something, you know, people are coming to the show and they're like, right, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one.
Yeah.
But it's different when you're in a local band. You're like,
yeah,
oh, here's 6 songs you've never heard before.
Yeah, I know, and sometimes people maybe don't have the attention span for it all, and maybe they just need one at a time. But you know, it's hard to know. Like, I mean, like personally, I always work better working on like a project or something. It's hard whenever it's just one song for me. I like to have things together.
Well, the thing is, I wrote that much over the last year and a half, that I think these two are actually getting sick of it now, because I come in and I'm like, no, here's another one, and they're like, but we haven't even figured out these songs. So I think for us, it's we're trying to actually work on sound now, because when we first came out as a band, we didn't know what we wanted to sound like.
Yeah.
And I think like Coming Home sort of encapsulates the band we want to be now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can definitely hear more of a defined sound, I think, on that song. Because I know I feel what you mean, like, from that. You know, I think having recently gone back with you guys being on the show tonight, listening to the songs together, I mean, they do sound like, you know, from different genres, from different areas. It's not a bad thing, though. You know, it's something that I'm usually quite a advocate for, like, changing it up. I truly believe that, you know, you have your own unique sound that you don't know you have, but if you keep writing songs, it's there every time. I think sometimes you can overthink it, and I would recommend not to do that.
Well, that's what we've had a problem with recently. There's a song that we keep trying. It's actually one we were thinking about recording, but everybody just gets in their head now, going, maybe does that sound too much? You know, and you're like, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it, dude. I mean, I just think that, like, as a musician, you have more of a unique voice than you give yourself credit for sometimes. Is like, you know, there's a certain way that you'll play or that you'll sing that, I mean, nobody else is necessarily gonna sound like that. And whenever you overthink it to a point, it's almost like you're trying to sound like something that maybe you're not. And I've been there many times where you're like, we need to sound like this because we're this type of band. It's like, I am a firm believer in doing your own thing. And it's like, you just do your thing and the sound comes through. But
it's like one of them things, music's obviously been around for so many bands now, so many bands from before. You're going to sound like something. So you can't be, that whole thought. Because obviously me never being in a band or anything, I always found it strange how people just go, oh, let's sound like, and it's like, oh, I mean, you're eventually going to sound like someone, even if you keep changing, you know what I mean? So
like, I hate this, you ever see when the bands, I don't know if you've noticed this, there's this big pattern now, like, it's usually like a third album thing. It's like Royal Blood has kind of started doing it now as well. They all start putting like electronica into their music, and they start having these dancey beats and all, and you're like, why?
Yeah, they try.
Like, we just wanted to change it up, and you're like,
I actually really like
label thing.
No, I do. I'm saying they're an example of doing it well, but a lot of bands do that. It's usually the third album or something.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people do that. Like, I feel like there's a thing, if you ever look up, it's the same as like film has, you know, the story arc, the hero's journey, like all a similar pattern. People, like successful musicians and big artists, kind of have that throughout their first few albums, where you have the debut that is a breakthrough, but the sophomore album is the one that defines you. And I think that's, like, usually the most important one is the second one. And people seem to always think that is, like, how do you follow up the breakthrough with something that is better? And then the third one is the one where you need to be like, here's something different. Like, that's, like you said, that's somebody, it's like, oh, we should add some keyboards in here. Or something. Like, they go straight to an element that we didn't have in the first two records. We'll put that in the third one to make it slightly different and say that we're maturing.
It's funny you said that. We like had a joke last, when was our practice? I can't remember.
Monday.
And Ryan said about this song needs a saxophone solo, but we all looked at each other as if to say, like, maybe it actually does need a saxophone solo.
That would be the mature single coming out. It's like these guys are growing as musicians. They brought a saxophone in.
It's the video where it's like winter and you're all wearing duffel coats, and it's, you know.
Oh man. Oh God.
But especially from, like, you know, the Royal Bloods and stuff, when you're part of a record label, maybe that's not forced upon, but it's like, right, can we try and hit more genres, more people?
I feel like there's probably a lot of people in a room screaming at you, especially if you're Royal Blood, and be like, okay, you're just a bassist and a drummer. We need to start adding something here, or else we're gonna have the same songs over and over again.
That was what I always feared about them, and so. And then there is bands that do release the same thing over and over, like Catfish and the Bottlemen. Like, they've been made a living out of releasing the same song
over
3 albums
over. Yeah,
you know.
I don't get that. I really don't get that.
Yeah, but then some people, like, you know, like they choose that band as a flavor. You know, like AC/DC. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Whereas, like, you're going to listen to Royal Blood. You know what you're getting. You know you're getting Mike and Ben, and it's just the two of them, and they're going nuts, and they're using a bass with like 64 different amps.
Yeah.
Or you could love a band and they do a 180 and it's horrible, like that Arctic Monkeys album the other year. I was like, what?
Man, I really like that album.
I like that album.
It's all right, but I was like, this is just not the Arctic Monkeys. You know what I mean? I was like,
you should watch my breakdown of that album. There's one on the YouTube channel. Not to promote internally here, but
I'll give it.
I tried to describe why I thought it was really good. And I was like, everybody's got to give it a chance. It's like a very short video explaining why it's good. But if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fair enough. But you see, I've always been a fan of bands, like, since I was very young, that evolve throughout time.
Yeah.
And I actually think of, well, a band we were talking about earlier is the ones that got me on that track, and that was Blink 182.
Yeah.
It's like, this
or
band
you go
that
back
went
to
from
California.
yeah, well, that's whenever, like, I haven't been as fond in recent years because I feel like they've lost their way a little bit, but they were definitely a band that kept pushing the boundaries. It's like, I get into them as a teenager because they just had a lot of dumb songs.
Do you know what?
And then you got
I
these
think
really serious songs.
yeah, the Untitled album was like, holy shit. Like, I will never forget the Untitled album, just like whenever I had it and I put it in the CD player, and it's just...
Oh,
it
it's
was a
still
whole
like
different thing.
top 5 album for me, like,
Oh, yeah,
Neighborhoods is
100%.
really underrated, in my opinion.
What is it, sorry?
Neighborhoods.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't really get why it got hate, Neighborhoods. I love
No.
Neighborhoods. I thought it was great.
I think it's because it's quite choppy, though. Like, it's very...
I mean, what's disappointing is, and it's quite evident, is that they weren't all together whenever they were recording it, I suppose. But I still think overall, like, somehow, even apart, the chemistry is there. That's kind of undeniable with that band.
There's some bangers on that album, like,
Oh, for sure. I mean, the deluxe edition, there's no point listening to the one that's not the deluxe edition.
Oh,
It
yeah,
left
yeah.
out
I
all the
never,
cool
I
songs.
never understood why you would do
Why
that.
they
you know
did
what I
that,
mean?
yeah, I know. Because
Yeah.
they left off songs like Snake Charmer, and...
Which
well,
is, for me, is like one of the best, best songs on that album.
It's a great song. So it's like, why would you leave that off? That's crazy. But I think they really got me on the track with that. And then, like I've always said, like, two of my favorite bands of all time were Blink-182 and the Beatles. It's like of two different eras.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I'd be the same, man. I'm a massive McCartney fan.
oh, dude, I love the Beatles so much. But I came to them later. Like, I was Blink in my early teens, and then whenever I was like sort of like around 17, 18, I discovered the Beatles for the first time. And like really went deep. Like, so, like, I have so much fucking Beatles memorabilia in my house. It's crazy. I got obsessed for a while. And to me, they were just like, yeah, it's completely different, but also the same. It's a band that is like, oh, they're a boy band rock and roll thing.
And then
it's
they
like,
became,
no, we're not. You just start going down this completely different path where you're like,
Seeing
you don't know
the-
what they are.
Seeing the last lockdown, I tried to be like, I'm going to do a McCartney, I'm going to go with this iPad and a bunch of microphones. I'm just going to go into the
Yeah.
room and I'm just going to... I was like, that is so much fucking effort. I can't
Yeah,
do that shit.
there's no chance. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, so I've just always been a fan of these bands that can evolve all the time, so I just encourage it constantly. David Bowie's one of my all-time heroes, and he's just, you never knew what to expect from him.
Yeah.
But there might be songs that people don't like. They might not like all the Brian Eno, like, weird industrial
No, I'm
stuff,
not
but
huge. I do actually like the last two albums, though. I think the last two albums are...
the last two albums were fucking incredible. But that's the thing, is like, just because you don't like parts of it, is like, I'm sure the majority of people in the world like Heroes or Fame or he went through a lot of different eras, but there's something there for everybody. But if you stay on one note, then you might not have that. That's my opinion. I don't know. Just keep changing. Keep doing what you do.
I really want to become like a Bee Gees cover band, like, just to like...
Oh man, Foo
Just like,
Fighters already
just like
did
the
it.
Foos.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters stole it from you with
They
the
did.
DGs.
They stole the
The
disco.
DGs.
They stole the disco.
That's where the costume came from in Symphony. It was like...
Yeah,
go.
I've got it. I haven't even talked about the video for that. Yeah,
That,
people gotta check that out.
Tell you about that video. He went to Spain. Nobody asked him to do that. Nobody
Nobody asked.
said. Nobody said, Scott, we need a video. Can you go and film one? He just showed up,
Happened anyway.
and we were like, oh, okay. I'm gonna take my earphones out here a wee second.
Oh, no worries, folks. That's all right. Because what I am gonna do is I'm gonna do the shout out segment here, where we talk about a couple singles that are just out, and then I've only got one more question for you guys at the end. But
Okay.
yeah, this is the this is the shout out segment coming at ya hot and fast. If I can find it, I have too many buttons now in my my soundboard that I can't actually find stingers anymore. It's becoming too complicated. Yeah, so shout out segment for this week's episode. I have a few singles to walk you through. First of all, how can we not talk about it? I mean, they're on the show. So Lonely Astronauts have Coming Home out, which you need to go and check out. We talked about it in the show, so surely you're curious at this point. You gotta go and listen to that tune. You can get it. It's on all stream servers out now. Cavalier Attitude. We actually made them we do a tip sheet every Tuesday and call it hashtag tip sheet Tuesday. I can't even say it. Why can I not say it? Too many T's. Too much alliteration. Tip sheet Tuesday, where we recommend a band that we really like. And Cavalier Attitude have a song out called Oh Wow. And that's how I'm going to say it as well. Oh Wow. And it's very... They say that they pull inspirations from, old sort of 70s punk bands like Dead Boys and the Ramones, but they very much pull it into like a modern, it sounds like 2021. Like, it doesn't sound like it was made in the 70s, but you can see where the inspiration has came from. But we would highly recommend Cavalier Attitude. You should go and check them out. Jordan Adetunji, surprise, the dude
Another
just keeps
single.
bringing out fucking song after song. This one sounds like it was 90s garage or something. Sorry, what?
I honestly love that guy.
Oh man, he's
He
amazing.
seems to just be able to do any genre as well.
He really can, because that's what I was gonna say. Is like this one is like a 90s garage song. I'm just like, man, he's released that. He's released like trap songs, sort of like that rap emo song that he did.
That was
called
awesome. That was like
Woke Up.
Yeah.
You just liked it because the drummer looked like Travis Barker.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, he does that drill sort of song as well that he brought out. But this is very garage-esque. But yeah, he just keeps bringing out songs.
He's got like a really cool name though. It's kind of like if you were listening to the X Factor, you could imagine the dude saying his name.
Jordan
Adetunji.
So his new single is called Wasting Time, and again, we talk about him endlessly, but it's because he's always bringing out singles, so I don't know what else to say about that. And then lastly, what I have here is Kieran Lavery, who released a song called I Love the Inevitability of Death, which is such a great song title. I love the inevitability of death. Depressing. But the video is actually hilarious. Kieran Lavery's got such a great sense of humor. I don't know if, if anyone listening hasn't checked this guy out. Like, he's great. He done, I think, was it last year or the year before? He done NI Music Prize, and he started making, like, WWE-style promo vids where he was, like, taking on the other contestants for the NI Music Prize. It's like, me and you are gonna be in a showdown, sort of fucking Hulk Hogan shit. So
Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, so he has this new song out, and the video is like really good. You should watch it. It's like he's performing on stage, but then people are packing up the set, but he just keeps performing and keeps dancing as people are taking his stuff away, like the guitar and everything's being brought off behind him, but he just keeps performing. It's a pretty funny idea. But yeah, so check out Kieran Lavery's new single. Highly recommend it. Andy, you got anything for shout out segment?
Mine was going to be Jordan, but
well, done it.
Stole it from him.
Yeah.
I've listened to like half of the NI Music Prize, playlist that they put out. I've done it.
Yep.
I'm down to N. Hey, make it shorter. Holy shit. It's 100 songs.
The old eligible list. Everybody's eligible.
They actually
I know.
whittle that down.
What's that? Oh yeah, whittle the list down.
Whittle the list down,
I know it's something that I actually intended to talk about in this podcast, but I feel like I'll talk about it more on the last one. But I discovered somebody that's not from Northern Ireland on that list, and had to bring it to the attention of people. Because I was like, there's so many fucking people on that it clearly went under the radar. But
And there was some songs from like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, well, the person I brought up wasn't even from this country, Andy, and never has been or has any connection to this country. So it was a bit weird that it slipped through the cracks. But yeah, I'll talk about that next week. We don't have guests on because that was
Lonely Astronauts.
Yeah, it was Lonely Astronauts. Get rid of them.
Are you gonna hit your sting? I want to ask where the name came from.
Oh, the name? Yeah, go for it. Wait, how did you become Lonely Astronauts?
I wrote a song called The Lonely Astronaut, which I nicked off Tom DeLonge, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he release a book or something? A children's book?
Yeah. So I nicked that because I was like, that's a great song title.
Yeah,
so I wrote this Angels in Our Waves type atmospheric thing.
Yeah. Atmospheric.
And they were like, that's a great name for a band. I was like, I don't know.
I stole it.
And then they were like, yeah. I was like, I don't know. I might get sued. And they were like, yeah. But then we found out. Have you ever heard of Joseph Arthur?
I don't think so.
He's like an American singer-songwriter. He had a backing band.
Right.
Called The Lonely Astronauts.
Oh, shit.
But we're fine because we don't have a "the" in our title. So.
Yeah, you're just Lonely Astronauts, yeah. And you can always just
pointed out the irony of the name, though. They were like, how can you be lonely if there's 3 of you?
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's
fair too.
You can be lonely in a group. Richard Ashcroft named an album "Alone with Everybody."
That's what I said. I was like, they don't know me, man.
Well, look, you know what? If you ever get stuck, you can always just put a 182 on the end and be Lonely Astronauts 182. I mean, that's what Blink did because there's a band called Blink already, an Irish band, ironically. Called Blink, and that's because that's what they were meant to be called, and then they just stuck a 182 on the end because.
Or we'll just add an extra S into the astronaut.
Astronauts.
Or that.
Or ass.
Astronauts, yeah. Yeah.
Lonely astronauts.
Astronauts making atmospheric music. Yep. You know what? That's it. And yep. So one last question to end on is, what is the future for Lonely Astronauts? I know we talked a little bit about it, but you have a lot. Are you planning on a lot more gigs this year, or do you think 2022 is the year to be in, like we were discussing earlier?
I think maybe 1 or 2 this year.
Yeah.
And then we kind of want it. The ideal thing is to get out and maybe try some festivals next year.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But we are really focusing on writing at the minute.
Yeah, writing, possibly debut LP.
Yeah,
possibly.
Because we have a lot of songs that we're just trying to, make sound like us,
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the way it works is I come in with like a skeleton, and then I usually have to tell Scott to slow down,
More disco
every
beats?
song. Maybe more disco beats.
Oh, that's
more Bee Gees influence.
I like it.
We just
put it on everything.
Want to keep gigging. We just want to get back to it, man.
Yeah. Well, man,
sure, like
looks,
yourselves,
Yeah, it looks like we're getting
it. To be playing in the pavilion on a Friday night.
I know. Well, I don't think we're far off, guys. I don't think we're far off.
I hope so.
We will get there.
But, I mean, the thing. Sorry, just quickly.
No,
just the thing is, if I'm assuming to write music, you need experiences, and if you're just constantly just not having experiences and being locked away and mingling with people, you can't do anything. You're just writing on. I don't know.
I don't know if you've noticed this. So we brought out a song last year called "Better Days."
Right? Yeah.
And it was like, it's head of lockdown. You're getting all depressing and you're stuck in the house. That's all you could write about.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed the amount of people that have took that title for a song
in
like the last 6 months. It's like,
really?
Single, better days coming.
Better days are coming. Better days ahead.
Yeah.
It's like, what the
Oh shit!
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's all you can talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So ideally, we want to get out and just have more
I know.
experiences.
That's what's so hard, is I feel like there's so many people that just wanted to go straight down the writing songs about being locked down or songs about COVID, but like the minute I hear like a COVID lyric in anything, I'm just kind of like
That's the
immediate
way I am, man. There's
cringe.
some
I'm just
bands
like,
I've heard-
we gotta take that out, dude. I'm not all about this. That's not gonna
There's some
eat.
I don't
bands
think,
I've
like,
heard release stuff like
With how
that.
everything is at the minute.
No.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I'm just like, I can't deal with this crap.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's actually a song I was working on with somebody where I was producing on it, and there was a lyric about COVID, and I was like, I tried to leave it for a long time, and I was like, we gotta take that out. It's just I can't have the word COVID in a song because it's just not gonna. No, that's a bad idea.
So just to
Yeah, I
go
think
back
it's
to
like,
what... Go ahead, Scott.
sorry, I just like don't think about too far into the future, because like you never know like what could happen like with COVID, but just like, you know, enjoy the next gig. Think about
Yeah.
the next gig. Think about just the next
Yeah.
single. Don't think about what's going to happen next year. You know.
Yes. Yeah. No, I get. Yeah. Better days ahead, folks. Better days ahead.
But is the
I don't know.
initial... Yeah.
I've sat through this whole thing like.
So is the initial so is it obviously, is it more singles than the LP, or do you just want to, like, is that the plan, more singles LP, or gonna
think
force
maybe
yourself to
the
do the LP?
I think ideally we want to do another single soon, but then after that maybe just start working on the LP. You know,
Do the
because
LP.
me and Ryan have both set up a lot of home recording stuff, so we're thinking of maybe demoing a lot of it soon,
Okay.
so we can sort of get it done
Yeah.
as quick as possible. You know.
course.
But we definitely, there's a couple songs we definitely are like, right, we want to put that out because we want to play it at a gig and we want people to like, you know,
Yeah.
sort of know this song.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's
Yeah.
another thing.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
makes sense.
you have to add stuff into the album, I guess, into the LP, I guess, because if you want to be that live band, you want people to recognize, so you can get that feeling, that connection.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah,
that makes
100%.
sense actually.
But
good.
look, guys, thanks for coming on today. I apologize, Scott. I've muted him on and off constantly, but his connection seems to have like very much dropped off. So I muted
Yeah,
it because
that's
it
what
was
he
just
was
like,
saying.
oh, there he
He was
goes.
just
He's
like
gone
that.
altogether. He was just like, it was just like a freeze frame of Scott's face for a while, and I kept getting all this like crazy noise feedback, so I had to keep muting him off and on. I felt really bad. He kept trying to say something, and I was turning his audio off.
Just mean mugging everyone.
No, he definitely had a lot of audio issues there. I think his connection
he was
must be
angry
bad.
at me for telling people the plans. He's like,
But do you know what?
Don't tell anyone the
what?
plans.
Do you know what this means? This means when the LP hits, he can come on again. Gives him enough time for that 4K camera he talks about.
Yeah, you guys need to sell some records so he can get a better camera. Oh man, but like we'll wrap it up there, guys, and you know, for everybody listening, go and check out the new single "Lonely Astronauts" coming home. It's out now, and Atlantic Bar, 11th of September. All being well, fingers crossed that nothing changes there. But I very much appreciate you guys coming on. It's been great chatting. Scott, I can add his face in for the ending of the stream on his really dirty camera again.
Yeah,
there he is.
He's gone back in time.
But thank you guys for joining us. We'll see y'all next week for another episode. And Money Mike will be back. Hooray! Back from his holiday. It's much needed break. Oh man.